Hey, Alyson, thank you so much for speaking with me, Pop Culture Weekly on iHeartRadio. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So this movie is so great, and it's kind of fun. It kind of blends different genres with comedy and kind of superhero-ish, and it's kind of, in my opinion, new for you. Is that something you would agree with, role-wise?
I mean, I guess so, except that when I was listening to you explain that, I was like, well, that's sort of what Buffy did as well. I mean, not the comic book part, but there was drama and comedy and action and horror. So it didn't feel like too far of a departure. I just loved, like, I loved the book, and the moment I heard that it was Disney Plus was doing a live action version of Flora and Ulysses, I was sort of already telling myself I was going to do it. And then I was like, well, wait, read the script before you say yes. And so I nervously read the script because I was hoping so desperately that it was going to be good. And it was so good. And I was just so excited to be a part of the project. And then for it to turn out as well as it had, it's like it exceeded all of my expectations. And I'm so excited for people to get to see it.
It really is a great movie, and it's got heart and wit, and it's just I really really enjoy this movie. What was the best part for you in filming it, especially knowing that you loved the book beforehand?
Yes. I mean, there were so many great things. The experience of it. My family and we all moved to Vancouver for the summer because that's where we filmed it. And so that was a really cool experience too, because it's such a great city for kids. And I hadn't spent that much time there. I'd sort of done projects really quickly and in and out. And I had always heard like, oh, it's so great. But I never really got to immerse myself in the city, and I really got it this time, and we all just fell in love with it. And then for the kids to get to come to set, and Matilda, who plays Flora, and is just a dream human being, and she's just slightly older than my oldest daughter, but for them to in between scenes or whatever to play cards and games and just have that sort of instant friendship. It was awesome. And so overall, it was just such a cool experience. And particularly now, since we've been in our house for a year, we really look back to that time of oh, that was so much fun to just get to hang out in a new country and live there. Because I don't know, it's different than when you go on a vacation and you kind of but when you're really there and you're going to the farmer's market on the weekend and doing things that you would do if you lived there, it was just really cool. So all around across the board, it was just such a great experience.
And did you get into the book from one of your children, or was it separate?
No, it was when my oldest daughter was in kindergarten, we were introduced to Kate DiCamillo, the author's books, the Mercy Watson series of books, which is all about this adorable pig who likes toast with a great deal of butter on it.
And who doesn't, by the way?
You're right. And so they're wonderful. So we immediately fell in love with her writing through that. And then she writes everything from Mercy Watson, which are sort of younger skewing books, to all the way up she's if I had to pick one author for my children, she's it, because my daughter and my oldest daughter and I are reading one of her older books now, and I love it just as much as I do the Mercy Watson books. And but Flora and Ulysses was one of the many books that we fell in love with. And I have to admit, I fangirl out every time I see Kate or talk to her. She has a little cameo in the film, and I couldn't have been more excited about getting to work with Kate and meet her. And I just, the moment she walked into the trailer, I just accosted her and I left any sort of, I'm going to play this cool out the window. And I just gushed. And just anytime I saw her today on some interviews and I just spent the time gushing, they had to cut me off of okay, Alyson, we have some interview. Can we let other people talk? Can you stop with the love from Kate? But I love Kate.
I love that. I love that story. And with Flora and Ulysses, did you have any trouble? I feel I mean, of course, I'm not an actor, but I feel like I would have trouble talking to, acting with something that isn't necessarily there while you're filming. Did you find that hard?
Well, I guess I had years of practice with Buffy, because we had a lot of scenes where we were reacting to monsters that weren't there, or, I mean, sometimes actors that weren't there, depending on what the hour was. So, I'm well versed in reacting to nothing. And I found reacting to the squirrel even easier than, anything else, because I am so familiar with squirrels and I love squirrels. So it wasn't hard to, at least I knew what a squirrel looked like, as opposed to some of the Buffy episodes where they're it's going to be a slimy monster that we'll figure it out in post, what we can afford to do. So you really had no idea what you were reacting to. Just big, scary monster.
Right. And with Matilda, who is absolutely incredible, and with her being, relatively the same age as your oldest, correct?
Yes.
Did you find that easier as a parent of a child about that age, for the acting process, part of, that process for you?
Absolutely, definitely. Being a mother has changed everything in my life, and it was nice to be able to relate to that age, and not sort of have to project ahead of well, what's my kid going to be like at 10? So it is nice that that I could relate so easily. It was an added bonus.
And with the production wrapped almost like a year and a half ago, correct?
Yeah, it was not this last
or filming
summer before. Exactly. Yeah.
And then was there anything, I know that, part of the post-production had to be kind of done remotely due to the pandemic. Was there any, pickup shots or anything that you had to do kind of from home?
Well, we definitely had to do the beginning, looping, sound fixes from home. And that was interesting, because that was sort of in the beginning of the stay-at-home orders and just trying to navigate it. And I think the first couple things I did just on my phone, because it was all temp stuff. And then actually the first time I worked after the beginning of the lockdown was to do real, go to the sound studio and really record it, because my phone and my surround sound, and we've got really high ceilings, so it's echoey, but so that was never going to work. But so the first thing I did was go to Universal and go record, that's where their sound was, and go record. And it was so weird to just be out, streets were empty, and then driving to this huge studio that I've been to a bunch of times in my life, and then there's nothing there other than a security guard 20 feet from the security gate that immediately takes your temperature, and it's one of those forehead ones. So I closed my eyes and clenched, I don't know. It was so weird and so surreal. And then drive, and then they ask a bunch of questions, and it was and then, I mean, it was everything but the tumbleweed, but the tumbleweed should have been in the back lot of this massive busy studio. So it really hit home of oh, we are shut down. Because I hadn't left the house really. And then just to be out and it was very strange.
I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously things are up and running now, but back then it was really like, I'm out in the world again.
And finally for the film, are you gonna watch with your kids? Like, do you have any exciting plans for the premiere on Disney Plus?
Yes, well, we did get to see an advance copy a while ago, and we all like just thoroughly loved it. And so they've been ever since then asking when they get to see it again. But it was one of those like, Disney sent it to me, it expired in a certain amount of time. And, it was, obviously we couldn't keep watching it. So they're just like, when do we get to see it? When do we, and like, again, and they want their friends to see it and everything. But I was thinking, for Christmas, we got a big like inflatable backyard screen and
cool.
a projector and everything. And we haven't actually, I guess because it's been kind of cold and rainy. We've had like 2 days of rain. That's but it's been chilly at night. And so we haven't done anything other than like set it up and play like a video game on it. So I thought, oh, well, that'd be kind of great to be like the first movie we watch on it. So I think that's how we'll do it.
That would be really exciting. And your children, I'm sure it's got to be cool for them to be like, Mom is in this movie that, most of these children have probably read.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, definitely. Especially from in their school. Kate is like a rock star at their school. And she actually was so gracious. She came and spoke because I begged her, and she spoke to the school, and it was just a dream come true for everybody. And even the teachers were like coming up to me, thanking me, like, "Oh my gosh, she actually is a rock star for our community." And it was is so incredible and so generous of her to do that, to offer her time like that. So I know that at least in our school community, like the kids will be very excited to see this.
That's awesome. Alyson, thank you so much for speaking with me. I really enjoyed talking with you. I love the film, and it comes out very, very soon, just a couple of weeks. Enjoy your time, especially with your kids, watching it. It's got to be really special.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.